What's up everyone, photographer Ronix from Ronix Photographer, and today's video is about frequency separation versus frequency separation So I want to show you guys three different methods of frequency separation, and I want you guys to choose which is the best frequency separation method in Photoshop. So we're going to be doing retouching of this image into a second by Osboud Photographer. I'm going to put his link in the description, so I just cropped it out so that I could get the definition of the skin clearly well, so that I can show you guys the difference between frequency separation using a mixer brush tool, then frequency separation using a lasso tool, and frequency separation using both the lasso tool and the mixer brush tool combined in Photoshop. So yeah, that is the major emphasis for this tutorial. So if at all you have been seeing so many videos about frequency separation on YouTube, yeah, this tutorial is for you guys. So I want you guys to judge and choose the best method. So I'm going to be taking you around retouching this image. So as you can see, I already removed the pimples or blemishes from this image. You can see now I'm going to be using an action, a frequency separation action, and I'm going to be giving you guys this action for free to speed up your retouching process in Photoshop. So let me kick in and start with the very first method. We're going to be using the lasso tool for the very first method for retouching this image. So I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to come to my actions, and I'm going to play my frequency separation action right here, and I'm going to put the download link for this in the description of this video, so that you can download it, and yeah, you can load it into your Photoshop. So let me play this action. So I'm going to click continue, and for the radius, as usual, make sure this is the image. So make sure you slide this until you're seeing less of the skin texture in this image. You can see let's use a radius of 10. So we're going to be using this radius for all our frequency separation so that we don't get any kind of bias. And now for this very one, I'm using a lasso tool for this very first frequency separation method. So I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to continue. So we are done doing that. So as usual, frequency separation divides the image into two. This is the texture and the color. So the low frequency is the color, and the high frequency is texture. So click on your low frequency or the color layer, and now come to your lasso tool. This is the lasso tool right here. You can right click and look for it. So for the feathering, make sure it is between 18 and 20. That's what I prefer. So this is the feathering for our lasso tool. So come to filter, then blur, then come to Gaussian blur. And before you can do that, sorry, we had skipped something. Make sure first of all, when you get your lasso tool and you have set your feathering, make sure you set your you select the area which has more skin texture on this image. So, and when you're selecting, make sure you select according to the shape of that specific area, like I have done right here. So come to filter, then come to blur, then come to Gaussian blur. So we want to blur out the texture so that you can remain with the skin texture that really looks amazing and enough for this tutorial or this portrait. So you're going to slide this radius until we can see the perfect skin texture for this very portrait. So you're going to start sliding this while observing this area right here. So we are going to slide until we have the most perfect. So we are going to go in for 33. I think 33 is fine. So make sure you remain with a skin texture that is natural enough. Yeah, you don't blur the skin details. So I'll go with 33.2 for this. So click OK. So we're going to apply this effect on the rest of the image. So by selecting according to the shape of that particular area, so you right click and click on Gaussian blur, So we are going to also come here and select that area, right click and click Gaussian Blur. And if at all you feel the effect is too much for your liking, just click Shift Ctrl F and you can fade this effect like that. So let's apply the effect on the overall image. So we are making selections according to the shape of that particular area. As you're seeing, I'm doing the selection. So yeah, I think we are almost done with this method. So for this frequency separation, we have been using the lasso tool method of doing our frequency separation. So let's see the before and after. So I'm going, after doing all these three methods, I'm going to put them for you on the screen so that you can do a comparison for yourself. So let me turn this on and off. That is the before after. You can see this method is also powerful and amazing, as you can see. So we are going to go in and do frequency separation, and this time around we are going to only use the mixture brush tool in Photoshop. So for those who don't know this, I'm going to show you guys how to perfectly set up your mixture brush tool in Photoshop and how to apply it to your images. So let me look for where these images are. Yeah, let me get our images. I saved them around here. So let's select mixture brush tool and we drag in right to our Photoshop. So this is the image now. As you can see, I named this image mixture brush so that I don't get lost after everything is done. So come back to our actions and play the frequency separation action. So remember, we are using the radius of 10. So this is 10. Now click OK, and now we shall just click continue. So this time around we are using the mixer brush tool, and the mixer brush tool is usually under the brushes. You just right click and look for it, or just click right here and you'll find your mixer brush tool for all the Photoshop versions is right here. So what the mixer brush tool does, it kind of blends the skin tones together of this image. So usually when I'm going to use the mixer brush tool, I prefer to select my high frequency layer or the texture layer in my frequency separation group, and I prefer to come and create a black and white layer on top of my high frequency or my texture layer. So I come to the red channel and I darken it. So when what this does, it kind of shows us where the skin tones are imperfect. So when using a mixer brush tool, we tend to blend these uneven skin tones together so that you can have good and fine transitions in the skin tones and while retaining the skin texture. So make sure it is a clean brush. Just drop down right here and make sure it is a clean brush. So because we want the brush to clean itself after each and every stroke when we are doing the mixing on the skin right here, and make sure this right here is checked. We are going to be using a wetness of 10 because we want to preserve texture on the skin. Load 75%, the mix at 90, and the flow 100. Make sure sample all layers is not checked. So make sure you click on the lower frequency layer because this layer contains the skin tones and the colors. That's what we are aiming at. So you're going to start blending these uneven skin tones, and when you're doing this, make sure you mix the highlights alone, the midtones alone, and the shadows alone. So we have some kind of shadows right here, so we're going to blend and mix this area alone. Then we come to this transition right here and we are going to blend that too. So we have some sort of highlights. So you can increase or decrease on the brush size by using the left and the right brackets on the keyboard. So let's do this. And I don't want to forward anything because you may think maybe I use some sort of plugin to make this method a better one. So that's why I'm mixing the highlights alone, the midtones alone, and the shadows alone. And as usual, when you're doing this, make sure you check on your progress by removing or turning off this black and white layer so that you can check on your progress. You can see before after, and as you can see, we are not seeing this clearly well. So sometimes you have to turn off this black and white layer so that you can mix while seeing the areas pretty well and nice. So you can as well turn it back on, because yeah, it kind of guides us and shows us this we have some imperfect areas right here. So it kind of guides us where the skin tones are not perfect and are not blending really nicely and well. So that's why we have to keep on doing this and using this black and white or help layer, because it is really like a guardian star or the guardian angel in our retouching process. So as you can see right now, we are trying to do the blending, and yeah, I think this method too is really fine. It is not bad at all. So stick around and see what the combination of the two methods does. So I think I don't want to over delay on this particular method, because you guys may tend to say like maybe I was biased towards a particular method. So let's turn off this black and white layer. So as well, you can just come click on it and drag it to the trash can and delete it. So let's see the progress for this. The results. This is the before after. So this is the mixture brush method. You can see what it has done, and this was our very first method, the lasso tool method, before after. So right now we are also going we are going to combine the two methods, that is using the mixer brush tool in Photoshop first, then we apply the lasso tool method of frequency separation to the same image. We are just going to combine the two methods and we see what results we are going to achieve from combining the two methods. So let me come right here and I'm going to get our last image. So I'm sorry, I have accidentally opened the image, so I'm going to come and close this. So I'm going to click and drag our image to our Photoshop. So for this image, we're going to use a combination of the lasso tool method of frequency separation together with the mixer brush tool method of frequency separation skin retouching in Photoshop. So we are going to come right here, actions, and we are going to play frequency separation action. So remember, we're using a radius of 10 because we want to see how best this works. So click OK, and now this is it. So come to the high frequency. Remember, first of all, we are using the same method, yeah, for the mixer brush tool. And remember, what we did first of all was come and create a black and white or help layer to guide us and show us where to mix. So we darkened using the red channel, and now clicked on the low frequency layer and got our mixer brush tool, made sure it is a clean brush, and this right here is checked, wetness of 10, the load at 75, the mix at 90, and the flow at 100. So we are going to blend these areas together. Remember, we blend from our low frequency layer. So we are going to blend these uneven skin tone transitions of this image, and we see after doing the blending, we are going to also apply our very second method of frequency separation, that is using the lasso tool method to kind of fine tune and get more perfect results for our image or our skin retouching in Photoshop. And if at all you're learning something from this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the like button on this very channel, so that yeah, we get motivation from you guys. This may be a kind of support to this channel. So Right now what I'm doing, I'm blending these uneven skin tones together. And don't worry if at all you miss out on particular areas. You can always come back with your lasso tool method, and remember we're going to fine tune it. We are combining two methods of skin retouching, and we want to fine tune this process for this image. So turn off this and see where you have not blended. You can as well come back and blend those particular areas really well and nice. So I think we are done with the mixer brush method. So we're going to delete this black and white. And now here is the trick I've shared with you guys in order to make your retouching really nice and easy. After getting your lasso tool in Photoshop, after getting the lasso tool, and making sure your feathering is at 18 pixels, between 18 to 20, come and make a selection on the area of the skin according to the shape, the area with more skin texture. Then come to filter blur, then come to Gaussian blur. So you can see now this radius right here. When you multiply this radius by what I found out is when you multiply it by 3 and add 2 to the value, you get maybe 10 times 3, you get 30, then add 2, you get the perfect skin texture right here. So I'm going to just put 32. So that is what I found out, because I've been using this method for so long. So select according to the shape and right click and apply the Gaussian blur. Remember, we are selecting according to the shape of the area and applying our Gaussian blur method of frequency separation in Photoshop. So let's do this quicker, so that I don't want this tutorial to be long, but I just want you guys to understand the difference and what the magic this creates to our different beauty or beauty portraits or beauty photos. So just come and apply this effect. You can see now this has been a combination of the lasso tool and the mixer brush tool. So you can see the before after, yeah. And now this was our mixer brush method. You can see the before after, and now this is the plain lasso tool method. You can see the before after. Now let me show you guys where the difference is. You can see when you use the lasso tool method, you kind of tend to get some bumpiness or unevenness in the skin tone transitions. You can see, let me see if I can create a layer right here. Let me create this layer right here, and let me get a white brush right here. Let me get a white brush, get white on top. I get a white brush. Let me increase on the opacity of this and reduce on my brush size. You can see this particular area, it has so many bumpiness in the skin tones, or the skin tones are not transitioning well. You can see this area too, and you can see unevenness right here. So when you're using this method, you may have perfect skin tones and you may have perfect skin textures, but you'll have this bumpiness in the skin. And when using this method, the mixer brush tool method, you can blend out everything, but you won't get some perfect results. Remember, there are areas you may not mix really well. You can see this area right here. Remember, we are human. You can tend to miss out on blending some areas. So when you combine the two methods right here, it is really perfect, and you can get the best results from retouching your portrait. So I'm going to put the 3 images for you guys to see and judge which method really works best for you for your retouching. And yeah, this is now for you to judge between this is the mixture brush tool method combined with the lasso tool method of frequency separation. Then this is the plain. I will find the way of deleting this. This is the plain lasso tool method. No, this is the plain mixer brush method, and this is our plain lasso tool method of frequency separation in Photoshop. So this is the lasso tool, this is the mixer brush tool alone, and this is the combination of the two methods in Photoshop. So let me put the images for you guys to see at the end of this tutorial. And I'm Ronix from Ronix Photography. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in yet another retouching tutorial. And for the action, I'm going to put it in front of this video, and this image was taken by Oswald Photography. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in yet another retouching tutorial on this channel. Stay blessed.